What's up, YouTube? Boosted Dave coming at you. I finally got my racing simulator set up, so let's go check it out. So as I mentioned in the unboxing video before, it is the Next Level Racing F1 GT cockpit. It comes in two positions, which is one of the reasons why I wanted this one. It comes in the F1 style position, seating position that you see here, where your body is almost in a W arrangement, where your feet go up and into the pedals. And then you can also set it to the GT style, where it's more of your traditional car seat. Moving on, I also got the Fanatec Club Sport version 1.1 wheelbase, and then the Club Sport steering wheel. I got the e-brake set up here as well, and then here are the Club Sport pedals. I also got the Club Sport Formula V2 wheel. I usually use that for F1 2020 and games like that when I race. We'll be getting to that in a little bit as well. Overall, this was actually extremely difficult to put together. It took me like 4 hours. Granted, I was by myself and I really had no idea what I was doing. The whole thing, you open up the box and the whole thing comes in pieces. So it's kind of like building Legos. I've honestly had an easier time working on projects in an actual car than it was building this. There are just so many nuts and bolts and random ass little metal bars that you have to put together. Everything was adjustable, so with lots of trial and error, it took me a while to get everything fitted the way I wanted it to, where it felt the most comfortable. You could adjust everything from the pedals to the angle that they come at you to the height of the pedals, as well as this little platform here, depending on how tall you are. I'm not too tall, so you know, it took a lot of, figuring it out as well. And then you can even adjust the support here where the steering wheel goes. One of the reasons I also wanted to get this cockpit was because the steering wheel goes over your lap as opposed to in between like a lot of rigs have. You get better stability that way, you get better movement with your legs, with the pedals and everything like that. You can even adjust the angle at which the wheelbase sits at, give yourself a more personalized feel. It is good in a sense that it caters to your comfortability rather than having it just be a generic setup. I feel like it makes, even the racing a little bit easier. That way, you're more comfortable. Things are less awkward with a more generic setup. As you can see, there's also an adjustable plate where the e-brake is. It also has room for a shifter. I'm actually very intrigued to see how that's going to work because it hardly had enough room for the e-brake. You have plenty of adjustability there. There's plenty of holes where the screws can go. This took a lot of adjusting because I wanted to be able to comfortably pull the e-brake back without having to lean forward to mess up my driving or anything like that. I'm going to get the shifter and the clutch pedal eventually. Just wanted to get used to this setup, see how I liked it before, I started experimenting with other things. Overall, I really, really do love this rig. It being my first rig, it was a bit unconventional to start this way, but it was something I was willing to devote a lot of time to, so I decided to go a little bit nuts. The quality is pretty good. Everything is metal, everything is sturdy, it's put together well, very good quality from the steering wheel, the wheelbase, even the shifter is all metal. The seating here too, it's I'm sure it's not real leather, but it's very comfortable. I'll be honest, I've played in this and before I know it, an entire day has gone by and I hadn't even realized. I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend it to anybody who's willing to get into racing simulation and perhaps go spend a little bit more on a really good setup, because I think that it is worth it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hook I'm gonna get a game started. I'm gonna show you kind of what it's like to drive with this. Gonna play a little Forza. So now that we're finally sitting in the cockpit, just gonna go over my Club Sport wheel because that's the one I have hooked up right now. The quality is really, really good. The entire steering wheel is made of aluminum and Alcantara suede. The paddles even are made of aluminum as well, so it gives you that sensation of shifting with a real car. Feels really good, really easy to steer. It's not heavy, but it also doesn't feel too light, too flimsy, perhaps as some of the other wheels may feel. It's got all of the Xbox controllers here as well. So it pretty much acts as another controller, so you can pretty much do everything without having to use the analog controller. Got some of the buttons here. This little button here is for settings. So you can have actually up to 5 settings, and you can adjust anything from the, forced feedback, the sensitivity, your responsiveness, all that stuff. I'll go over that in another video if that's what you guys are looking for. I have 2 settings on it right now. This is my standard track day setting when I play Forza. And then the second one I have is for, drifting, because it makes the steering a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to snap back and transition and link turns. So without further ado, why don't we get started? All right, now that we're sitting here in the cockpit, we got our Mazda 787B, which in my opinion is the best race car of all time. It is the 4-rotor from Mazda that came out in the 90s for Le Mans, and it was rendered so unfair because of its power output due to how small the engine was that they actually rendered it unfair. So, and it sounds like one of the best race cars ever. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do a quick lap around my favorite track, Spa, which I love. I love Eau Rouge, And without further ado, let's get going. Here we are, we're sitting in the cockpit of the car, and as you can see, a little delay, but you know, that's to be expected. And let's do it. Just that. Down into the first hairpin. Gotta lift just a little bit as you go up through a Rouge and Radeon. In the 5th gear. Oh my God. Jesus fucking Christ. Terrible. Up into the bus stop chicane. Can't go too fast out here, otherwise you're gonna spin out. There we go. Hard on the brakes. Into the hairpin. Oh, probably went a little too hard on that one. Gotta lift just a bit, downshift into 4th. There we go. So as you can see, the wheel is fighting back a little bit, but it feels good. Coming around a little wide there. And then here. And listen to that noise. Can you imagine being able to drive this in the 90s? I wish I was old enough to appreciate it. God, that turned wide again. At least it didn't hit the sand trap. Let off, hit the apex. Got a little wide too. Very slow turn into the bus stop chicane once more. Careful, a little wide again. down one more time. There we go. Try not to brake. Downshift. There we go. Much better. Only 5 gears. Gotta love it. It's as much gears as my Subaru. In a car that's so light and aerodynamic, it was so ahead of its time. It won the mod and the only one that was ever entered in. Oh no, we're off the track. Spending too much time talking to you guys. Trying not to lose it this time. Oh, yeah, there we go. Much better. Then hit the gravel trap. Keep it in third. Hold it. Hold it. A little bit on throttle. Take that all the way to the outside. Oh, almost lost it there. So that thing screamed. Into the bus stop chicane. I'll get it too wide. Could have gone a little bit more clean there. That was pretty bad. All right. So I think 3 laps is pretty good. I just kind of wanted to give you a gist of everything. But again, everything feels great. You know, the pedals have really good feedback. You know, as I keep doing these, keep making more videos, you know, hopefully I'll get better, put on better times. I just not great, definitely not my best performance, especially with no warm up. You know, those first couple laps are a little rocky. That last lap was pretty good. Could have done the bus stop chicane a lot better, but you know, as I keep coming out with these, it'll improve. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you want to see videos like this, if you don't, I'm all for it. Any type of feedback is good. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. And remember to stay boosted.